Flame Monroe, welcome to your first one-on-one with Hype Plus, aka Comedy Hype. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you guys for having me.
Man, you definitely would represent for me a legend, someone that I've heard about for years. And
Oh, what did you hear? What did you hear?
no,
Oh my
just some in
God.
terms of I think being someone that was ahead of their time, being in part of our community and and somewhat of how to navigate that space with being who you are. So I want to take it back though. I want to know about Flame Monroe in Chicago. Yeah, what was going on in Chicago?
Chicago's my hometown.
Yeah.
You know what? I started doing drag shows in late 80s. And my muse, my sister Tasha Thomas, may she rest in peace, who I learned everything from as far as hosting and performing or whatever. The first time I did a show, I did my first show at a white club called The Baton. So funny, I did a black number at the white club and did a white number at the black club.
Okay.
And then about 2 weeks later, there was a club, the greatest club ever, called Club LaRae's in Chicago. And I went there, Tasha was the host. You had to come on a Tuesday night and sign up. It was crazy. I did Tina Marie, You Make Love Like Springtime. And so Tasha said, well, but what did you do, baby? I said, oh, Tina Marie. She said, yeah, baby, drag ain't for everybody. Oh, I put my tail between my legs and went and flushed my face in the toilet about 13 times. I was hurt. But it lit a fire up under me by challenging me to say, oh, you don't tell me what I can and cannot do.
Right.
Let me show you. Then I became the host. I hosted Underground for 17 years in Chicago, famously at the Generator, the Convent, the Biology Bar, so many clubs, the Clubhouse. And we would have 500, 600, 700 people come out on a Monday or Thursday night in the middle of a blizzard, 30 degrees below zero, to see Flame Monroe.
Now, were you like doing comedy then?
No, I was just the host. I was hosting the drag show, but I always had a quick wit. I was always good with a quick comeback. So I had personality. But here's the strangest thing about me being on a microphone, period. I never had that desire. I never had a desire to be on a microphone. It's the old adage that people see in you things that you don't see yourself. So when we were at the clubhouse, and my sister Tasha Thomas, she got into a fight with another girlfriend of ours, the girl named Casey. May she rest in peace too. AIDS took a lot of my friends in the 80s. We'll talk about that down the line. But so they suspended both the girls that night. So we in the dressing room, we getting ready for the show. We figured they were just going to announce us one by one. So a guy named Mark, another young man, a Latino guy who died from AIDS, rest in peace, Mark, said, Flame, you host. I was like, oh, absolutely not. I'm not going out there. My thought was, them niggas is crazy. I'm not going out there. But he said, do it. You can do it. I hear you in the dressing room cutting up. I said, I'm not doing that. I want to do it. So I went out there and I gave it an attempt and I was lousy. So he said, come back and do it again next week. I said, I don't want to do it. You keep wanting me to do something that I don't want to do. He said, just try it again. So I came back the next week. I was worse the second week than I was the first week. That's the truth.
So you said in this scenario, you talked about the first time you went and did a show. How like nerve-wracking was that? What was going on maybe a year or two prior that made you even consider to do drag? Like,
oh, I had went to the club, the Baton Show Lounge.
okay.
And I had seen these female impersonators and the Baton is they're about to celebrate 54 years of legendary female impersonation. I seen girls that I couldn't believe these were not girls. These were the greatest female impersonators I had ever seen, and they were entertaining. And I'm like, they're naked. How you naked? And I just was intrigued, and so I came a couple of other times, and I was like, oh, I want to do that. I want to try that. Just one time for Halloween. That was about 30 years ago. You see.
I wonder, we do a lot of interviews with comedians and a lot of them say like how they started their journey. I wonder, did you recognize when you were younger that you were different, than your peers maybe? Just like you moved differently, like how different were you than your peers when we talk about a young Flame Monroe? Like,
are you talking about a young Marcus Parker? Because I didn't become Flame until I graduated from high school. I was always me. That's what it was. I was flamboyant, genuinely who I am. I always had a quick comeback because when we were young, we played the dozens. We would play Beat Your Coochie I was in the high school band.
Beat Your Coochie.
We would play Beat Your Coochie. My name is Flame. Okay. Your mama's lame. I got good game and I keep you tame like that. And everybody Yo, so we had that and we had a great camaraderie. But I was always me and I was good at the dozens. And when I graduated high school, I had a 4-year scholarship to Bethune-Cookman College to play the oboe. But I didn't want to go to college. I didn't have a support system at home.
Got you.
So I didn't want to go away.
To play, what would you say at Beth?
The oboe.
What's that?
It's a double reed musical instrument. I was
Gotcha.
master at the oboe. I was in all city band and orchestra. Nobody knows that secret. Now they know now.
Right. No.
But I didn't want to do that. I wanted to get away from. I had already moved out of my mother's house. I wanted to get away from my family and be me. I knew there was something I wanted to do. I wanted to entertain. I couldn't sing. I couldn't dance like that. I knew I could act a little bit, but I knew I had a quick wit. So when I got the job as the host, like I told you, the second week I was worse than the first week. And then I came back the next week. He said, do it one more time. And I kept telling you, sometimes people see things in you that you don't see in yourself.
Right.
That third week I went out and I got a heckler. And when I got the heckler, I roasted that ass like a Thanksgiving turkey. I said, oh, this is what you're supposed to do. And after that, I never let the mic out my hand.
I think that's like that seemed like to be the basis, right? Is that you were maybe defending yourself and getting people off you. Were you like a target? Was it like you said, were you flamboyant? Were the brothers in the neighborhood picking on?
Oh yeah, and we grew up in the projects in Chicago, so I fought all the time. But all my uncles were Stones; they were all gangsters, so everybody knew me, and nobody was gonna really hurt me. But I did fight a lot because of they called me Sissy Marcus.
Sissy Marcus. Did that hurt your feelings back then?
In the initial beginning, it did, but my grandmother, who was a beast, may she rest in peace, Big G of Dolores Gibson, told me, "What you gonna do? You gonna be somebody else? You gonna live somebody else's life? You can't be nobody but you." She ain't tell me to be the best you. She said, you can't be nobody but you. Mm-hmm. And when my grandmother told me that, and my grandmother was gangster. My grandmother threw lie in the police face and would shoot at you. And my grandmother was a monster. I was like, that's great advice because she's right. I can't be nobody but me. So I was just me. I didn't want and I was always flamboyant. I jumped rope. I played catch a girl, kiss a girl. I was always the girl, and I always was like the blonde in a B-rated movie. I always fell and got caught on purpose, unless she was ugly. I was I was like Flojo. You ain't gonna never catch me.
Did you cause even now, like, you have children, right?
I have 3 children.
So that means there was a point in time that you were dating women.
Oh, no. I have never, I lost my virginity to a brother and sister in the same 2 weeks. Her first and then her brother. I have never not enjoyed the company of the female anatomy. I just like my female anatomy to be attached to somebody who looks extremely masculine.
Gotcha.
But even when I had the only one boyfriend I ever had, which was Larry, when I had a boy, we had a girlfriend. Oh, I have never deprived myself of what I want because I don't owe anyone anything. I own Marcus Parker and I own Flame Monroe.
Got you.
That is a powerful place to be. I own my feelings. I own my thoughts. I own who I sleep with.
I guess, what do you find attractive? Are you on the, it's like people are fluid now. It's about vibes and energy. Are you on that wave when you see someone that you are attracted to?
I like people that like me. Let me be very honest. And I like a very masculine F to M or very masculine. F to M is a man. F to M is a female to male. That's what F to M stands for. But it's technically a man. He just was born a female, so he has a female anatomy.
Gotcha.
So that's my preference.
Gotcha.
I haven't done men in quite some time. I haven't done a man in many, many years. I get offers though from some cute ones too. But I have my own pronoun. I am he, she, we. He, she, we.
What's that
mean? He cash a check, she make the money, we spend it. You hear all that inclusion? I ain't leave nobody out. He, she, and then the we must be non-binary. See, everybody.
Now, one thing when you did mention about coming up in the drag community, you lost a lot of friends.
Oh yeah, AIDS hit 81 and it just, and when we first heard about AIDS, they said it was a white man's disease. You can only catch it if you go to bookstores. I'm like, oh shit, we ain't gonna never catch nothing like that. We don't
Why
go
do they
to
always say that?
bookstores.
Even with COVID, it was like,
well, the same person that was in charge of AZT and AIDS was the same person that was in charge of COVID, Dr. Anthony Fauci. So you do the math on that.
Okay. Were you at any time, did you feel your life when the AIDS, when you start seeing friends around you pass away?
And when it happened, it was like dominoes. I can remember going to 8 funerals in a week. 8. That don't mean that we wasn't doing 4 and 5, but the most I remember was like 8. They were just going quickly. And we were just hoping that, that we all be saved. And my sister Tasha, may she rest in peace, say, girl, if you ever catch it, please don't let them give you AZT. Because AZT did kill AIDS. It killed you too. AZT was treacherous.
Yeah. It just makes me think about, what do we believe out here? Are some things, by design, when you see things moving that aggressively amongst us? Did you ever have your questions about where did something like AIDS come from? Some people said it came from monkeys and
Why they always blame animals for everything? AIDS came from monkeys. COVID came from what?
bats.
From bats. Yeah, okay. What's next? Monkeypox came from what? A giraffe? I don't know. I just have to think how I think, and luckily I am an independent thinker, and I think for myself. I don't never go with the masses. If I don't feel that it's right, and it's not right for me and my family, then I don't do it. If I feel like it's right, then I do it.
Yeah.
I don't know what conspiracies they have going on, because you have to question everything now, because if you might have said something 8, 9, 10 years ago, they go back and research it to find what you said. So you have to remember what you're saying today will still reflect on what you said 10 years ago in a ridiculous fashion. But I do remember that they were saying that the world was overpopulated by 3 million people.
Okay.
And some of these people buying up farmland and things are happening. Hell, Fauci predicted, it's on video, that we were going to that we were going to have a pandemic while Trump was in office, before Trump became in office. So you do the math. I hear clearly. My sight ain't the greatest, but I hear clearly. Do you?
Yeah. It's always interesting when I guess things of this matter come up, and then the pandemic itself and mask, and you have to be, have the vaccine.
And nobody's talking about it at all.
And it just disappeared. I remember it was so hard to get around without being vaccinated, particularly here in Los Angeles. And they said, okay, we good now. So,
oh God, I got a joke about that. I'm not going to say it.
Now, one thing is, just conspiracies. And you mentioned, and this is a conversation itself about population and maybe population control. Do you think that there's a gay agenda that is pushed? And I can see it twofold. I think there's a real maybe perspective that people are trying to get their rights and be respected as who they are. But is there another thing where it's coming from a group of people to make others feel that this is how it should be? And is there at all a gay agenda?
Oh God, I don't know if I would even be the right person to answer this question. And I am a part of the LGBTQIA plus community, but have been shunned and ostracized by my community because of my views of how I see this world. So it's probably not good for me to speak on that subject. If there's an agenda, I don't have one. My agenda is to make people feel good.
Yep.
To break down walls and barriers by being naturally myself and not forcing who I am or my lifestyle on you. I allow you to come to me.
Yeah.
This is the reason I have survived in the comedy game in this world, mainstream, because I didn't kick open the door and say, I'm here, you got to accept me. I kept coming and kept coming and kept coming and showing up and against challenges, because 20 years ago, I was invisible to these brothers. 20 years later, I have earned my respect in the comedy world.
Yeah.
People honestly respect me, and I would not allow anybody to take that away from me.
Does that hurt you to see that? Because I would imagine, right, that community is supposed to be embracing you because you're one of the most vocal, or at least seen persons that they have. And then you also have your own community, which is Black, brown community, that honestly sees it still as taboo to be in drag. And did you feel like you lost a baseline of your support? Did it hurt you when you saw
Well,
that?
to be honest, my audience, outside of working at the gay club was never a gay audience. My audience was always the heterosexuals, and I played on that because I knew women loved me. Women loved how I dressed and what I did for them. And wherever the women go, wherever the coochie go, the penis was gonna follow. So the brothers was already in the room.
Yeah.
I had to learn how to make the men comfortable laughing, looking at me, because the stigma was, oh, if you laugh at that, you must be gay. So I had to revert to being her and him to make my whole audience comfortable, because women loved me anyway, but I needed the brothers to know, man, when I leave here, I'm going to do the same thing you're going to do. My stroke may be better than yours. You need to come on with it. I just look different.
Yeah.
And when I made them more comfortable, the men relaxed this fear or I don't understand to, oh, you did your thing, Flame, man. You was cool. And I didn't take, man, you was good as hell as a disrespect.
Yeah.
Why would I do that? All the girls call each other bruh now. All the girls call each other bruh. I took it as a compliment because I was looking for the compliment. I wasn't looking for the,
Right.
oh, that shit was whack. You need to keep that shit over there. Because I got that from the other comedians for a long time.
Yeah. When you became a comedian, do you remember that first show that you did?
I can remember like it was yesterday. Unfortunately, it wasn't. We went to the comedy club. It was open mic night. All jokes aside, greatest comedy club ever on the planet. I know y'all got y'all's, but that was mine. And Damon Williams was the host on that night. So me and a couple of girls. And when I went in drag, I was living as a woman at the time. But I had a banging body. Oh my God. I would stop traffic on the 405 on the rush hour on a Friday in the rain, like it is right now. But I was never a passable trainer. Like when you looked at me, I was pretty, but you're like, yeah, I know. And because I embraced that, because they always holler acceptance. Acceptance is a blueprint that starts with you. I got to accept me first before I look for somebody else to accept me. So I accepted me with my flaws or what have you. So Damon started joining me from the audience, and I tore his ass up. Oh, bagging is my thing. I destroyed. So he can't come up here. So Damon Williams had me come on stage with him, and we went back and forth in a banter a little bit. And I had on some pants and a teddy. Teddy's was big at the time. I said, you better be careful playing. I pulled my pants leg up and said, I'm on house arrest. I get you. The whole place erupted because I really was on house arrest at the time. And that was it. From then on, every week I was there. I was there and every week I was there. It just kept coming.
What's been the funniest joke that you heard about yourself?
That I've heard about me?
That you heard about you, that someone got you good, that you was like, okay.
Oh, the funniest joke was, oh my God, what is his name? Damn Fool made a joke about when I was younger, and it's online too, about when my kids leave a room, I can switch up and be mama and daddy. And I used that joke on stage. So I think that was because it was what he said, Flame be fucking his own kids up. They want the daddy, Flame put the beard on, then they leave and Flame cut the beard off. And it was so funny, and I used that in the story, but that's because when they were young, I'm like, they're too old, I can't even tell that joke right now. But I thought that was the funniest thing. The comedians are never really mean to me. The comedians that are mean to me now, that's their own insecurities, because everybody knows who I am. Everybody knows what I am. They know my get down. They know the way I speak. So if I run into a comedian now and they doing all this stepping away and backing up, that has absolutely nothing to do with me. That is your own insecurity. I done woke something up in you that you didn't know, and you mad at you because you ain't mad at me. And most of the time it's the fat ones anyway. Women can have your ass. I don't want your thick ass. What I'm gonna do with you? Feed you?
I've heard that argument a lot about like men that do seem to have a big issue with, gay people, with trans. You believe that some men are hiding their sexuality or afraid to address it?
Well, I feel like a man who's insecure, who's secure with who he is, knows his own get down. Yeah, I know what the presentation look like, but then when I take the packaging off, if it ain't what I ordered, it's like Amazon. If it ain't, I'm sending it back. So that's what it is. And I got some trans sisters out here that are drop dead, unbelievably gorgeous, that can fool almost God. I said almost. But that's on the exterior. When it's time to do the do, I'm sick of men saying, I ain't even know. Stevie Wonder got 13 kids, 18 baby mamas, ain't never seen a vagina, and they ain't never made the mistake of not seeing one. You get what I'm saying? So they need to let that go, because they want to blame the trans girls for that. She fooled me. Mind you, we do have, but when it's time to do the do, this will never feel like this. That's it.
I remember there is, and this is kind of a topic. Little Duval was on the Breakfast Club,
Uh-huh.
and he got himself in some fire because he said that he would kill a trans woman if she didn't reveal to him that she was trans and they did something together. What are your thoughts on that? Just even after hearing what you just said.
That's a dangerous game to play, and I was never able to be put in a position to play that game because I was never a passable trans. Next question.
Gotcha. Kind of moving along in terms of, the conversation of insecurities. Right now, Jonathan Majors just did Ebony magazine, and he's considered, a next, ultimately like a black leading man, a new name that we can kind of look up to. What were your thoughts about when you see people kind of give him a hard time for one, what he was wearing, but also I think how he was posing in this particular image? Do you think that society is trying to emasculate black men?
Isn't that what society has accepted now? They want us to do whatever we want to do. You can't turn on the TV now and see something that you would have never seen in the 80s, early 90s. So society got to make up its mind. I thought the Jonathan Majors spread was fantastic. So it's not okay for him to have feminine poses or whatever in the boxer shorts, but Harry Styles can be in Vogue magazine dressed in women's clothing, sexy as hell still, and women turned on by that. But it's always us. It's always us complaining about us.
What do you
we
think,
are never good enough for us.
What do you think is the issue? Because I think with us, we see homosexuality as like the white people's thing. I think that's collective.
No, you don't. The black churches talk about homosexuality all the time. Let me tell you what churches do for you. And I got a great relationship with that player right there. That's my boy and I'm his. Take that how you want to. Let me tell you something about that. The church religion will send you to do things that you will never thought you would have done. God bring you back.
You mentioned you was on house arrest when you did. What did Flame end up doing to get in that predicament?
I was innocent.
And it was at the first time and the last time?
Oh, that was damn sure the first and last time. We were at that time, we used to do deceptive practice and open a fictitious bank accounts, do all kind of crazy. So it was young, wild. And I had a boyfriend, the one I told you, Larry, who turned me in, and a judge sentenced me to 3.5 years. My very first case in Illinois, I had a great lawyer. I had a great Jeffrey Mandel, a great Jewish lawyer. I paid him great money. But this judge had an agenda. She had a 97% conviction rate. I tell this joke on stage too. And she sentenced me to 3.5 years in a men's penitentiary.
Okay.
I'm 21. Brand new breast implants, my long red hair, my real hair to my shoulders. Body, I had been taking hormones, so the body was very curvaceous. Y'all sent me with 1,800 men. Like I was gonna be upset. She sentenced me to 3.5 years. 46 days in, the warden came and found me. He said, "Are you Parker?" And said my institution number. I say, "I am." He said, "Bitch, you coming up out of my prison. You got these niggas uneasy." Those were his exact words to me.
Wow.
2 days later, I did 11.5 months on house arrest. That's when I went to the club. I was on house arrest. And the judge, because once you get out, you have to go to the courthouse to report for probation or what have you. So about a week after I was out, they let me go to the courthouse. And I got really glamorous. I went to her courtroom and I just sat in her courtroom with my legs crossed because I wanted her to see me. I wanted her to see, you ain't stopped this train. About 10 months later, her and her family was on vacation in Boca Raton, Florida, and she was killed in a freak accident. You know how the electrical gate, you push the clicker and it's supposed to stop?
Yeah.
It never stopped. The electrical gate crushed her. Family student got $20 million.
Wow.
Did I fail to mention that I got an A+ on my online 9 months electrician class?
Oh my.
That's a joke, y'all. True story.
So even
Google it. But I wasn't in Florida at the time. I was on house arrest.
Even hearing that, right, there's still like debates about someone that is, in the trans community and they go to prison. Do they go with the women or do they go with the men?
See, it's a different time now. When I went there was no such a thing as a trans nothing. They actually tried to lock me up in the hospital because they were saying that was the only way that we could protect you. I was like, I don't had a mouthpiece. I'm from the projects. I don't need no protection.
You weren't
I can
scared?
go. No, I was ashamed. I was not scared. I was ashamed that I went to prison. You know, my mother came to see me. I was ashamed that my mother had to see me in prison. That's what I was. I wasn't afraid. I was ashamed. And, but I wasn't finna be locked up in no damn hospital. I'm like, ain't nothing wrong with me. Plus, had I let them do that, I would have never got out on house arrest because I would have been, you could have just forgot about me.
Right.
Because I'm already and that's what I think they did with Jussie Smollett. People were like, they put him in a mental ward. They did that to protect him. Because in prison, if somebody want to get to you, not only will the guards make it happen, but so if the guys that used to want to come over to the so-called gay wing would just say, I'm going to walk myself. I'm scared. You get right over there to get whatever you want. But no, I was not afraid. I just didn't want to be there. So thank God I got
How
out.
did you protect yourself? Because, you know, you got a lot of scary brothers in there and brothers that may be not so, you know, you talking about in the right mind.
Well, I was only in the medium max. I wasn't in a killer's prison.
Okay.
You know, nobody killed them. And everybody was, let me tell you something about men. I'm a great judge of character. Mm-hmm. These men complain like women. These men whined and bitched and cried and boo-hooed. And I'm like, I got the titties, but y'all the ones acting like punks. Good God. So it just made me really see how men were. And I would watch how the women would come and visit. And this time visitation was different. It wasn't no glass. You could touch and smell and feel and lick. And the women would get them all aroused. And then when they came back to the wing, there were no women. Mm.
I got a question, right?
Yes.
So
I left that open for you. I want y'all to think what y'all want to think.
And I'm gonna kind of go with what you're alluding to. You know, some brothers that go in jail, they dabble with other men, and maybe even trans men. Do you think like the environment made them gay, or did they go into that with some gay curiosity?
Well, first of all, let's be very clear that every man that goes to prison, it could be a 10-year stench, does not get down. That's the truth. But if we have to do, I'm going to say 89%. And I watched Muslims get down. I watched gang members, the head of a gang member gave me the greatest head. I'm looking for the nigga now. Good God. It was like a Paris casualty dispenser. I had to look down the nigga throat and say, you got a clit in there? What in the heck? So what I'm saying is that how it was explained to me when I was in there is a guy said, this is a situation I'm in. I would never do this shit out in the world, but this is the situation I'm in, so this is why I'm doing. It sounds excusatory.
It does.
But affection is affection. And the problem is a lot of men don't want to show affection. Now, that's not to say that they always had to do something intercourse, but you're a human person. You want affection. You want to be touched. You want somebody to put down. Even the strongest man wants to be hugged. He wants to feel somebody's arms around him.
More of affection versus getting a release.
Well, no, because I saw him getting a release, baby. But I'm trying to be nice. I was sugarcoating. But it really was affection. But like I said, there were no trans in that. That was the reason I was able to get out the way I did. Now you said about it, they got a whole wing just for trans.
Right. Okay.
Don't put me with a whole bunch of bitches like me. Just shoot me in the head at point blank range. I can't take it. Oh my God, no.
You know, so that has been kind of like a conversation that I've had with my friends about it, where I do think there might have been some curiosities with those men, and it does feel like excusable, but I have not been in that situation. I would just think that I'll be okay with, taking.
And I'm not taking a side whether they should have or they should not have, because I can only control my life.
Yeah.
But I hate it if they were in there and they did do that. And I've seen some couple of guys that I knew that when they did come out, it was, I hate gays and I woo 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 and I want to hurt this one, I want to hurt that one. But when you were in that situation, you were one of them. It's not that I want you to come out and carry the flag, but that means slow your roll. That ain't got nothing to do with you. You said when you were in there, you were living a different life. So when you came out, live your other life.
And that's interesting, there's probably a couple people out, well, not a couple, but quite a few people out here that was living that life inside, and then when they come out, yeah. Just moving forward about your career, we would do Chicago. Then, at what point? Why did you come to Los Angeles?
I came to LA because I did Comic View in 2004 and 2005. Thank you, Chris Spencer, for making a phone call to call Joyce Coleman to put me on Comic View in 2004 with BET. It was unheard of to have a trans person of any magnitude on a national platform like that. And BET tried to market me as a woman. And what did I tell you earlier? I ain't never passed as nobody's woman. But if they wouldn't have been so afraid and so this was long before RuPaul's Drag Race or anything. They could have really opened up a plethora of, oh my God, we did this first. We made which I still made history. I was the first one. And then the next year I came on, and that was the episode that me and Cheryl Underwood had our spat. And that was the highest rated episode in the 14-year history of Comic View. You can't even find it online right now though. And I came to California because I had a broken heart. From my daughter's mom. I got 3 kids. I got two 20-year-olds and a 16-year-old. Today is my daughter's birthday. Happy birthday, Isaiah. Today is my baby girl's birthday.
Wow. Mm-hmm. And I think, before the cameras roll, the question was how? How do you have these kids? What was your response?
I said, when the last time you had some pussy? You forgot how to do it. Well, we might be old fashioned, but we ain't gonna never get there. The new fashion is doing it the old fashioned way. I don't know though, because they marrying dolls. I seen some man just married his sex toy. I'm like, y'all getting a little too kinky for me. I can understand getting down with a sex toy, but you actually put a ring on this. Beyonce said, if you like it, put a ring on it, but she didn't mean plastic. Good God.
How have your children accepted you and you think processed?
I'm just the only daddy they've ever known.
You ever showed up to the school in drag, or do you?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
But when they had fundraisers for my kids' school, because let me tell you what makes a great school is the PTA. And I found that out by being a parent. The better the PTA, the better the education system at a school. They had a big fundraiser, and so one of the ladies knew who I was, and so she asked me to come and perform Tina Turner at the fundraiser at a club in Long Beach, and I did that a few years ago, and that was how so many other parents knew me, but I was part of the PTA, and all the parents were very accepting, but I never went to school in drag, no. I never wanted to embarrass my children, per se, with my lifestyle, and when you ask how did they get used to me, this is who I was when they were conceived.
Okay.
So I never had to make changes or excuses. They knew exactly who I was. They know I'm an entertainer. They know now, because I used to live as a woman before they came, that I dressed up for work, but I'm still Flame all day. Even the teachers call me Flame.
Well, you said embarrassed. You think that would have been embarrassing, or would have just been more so like too much?
Well, I don't think my children would have been embarrassed by me, but other children would have said horrible things to my children and made my children feel bad. And no. Because I will fight your kid. That was a joke. Well.
Now, kind of going into just today's world, and then I still want to kind of, follow your journey. Hollywood is known for its celebrities. And then at the same time, I would feel like a lot of celebrities seem to be pushing certain like perspectives, agendas. One conversation is Boosie's perspective on Gabrielle Union and how they are raising Zaya Wade and Dwayne Wade's daughter.
God is a jokester, ain't he? God is a jokester, ain't he? Boosie commented on somebody else's kid, and then his own daughter came out as lesbian. God is a prankster. That's all I got to say, because I like Boosie. I love Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union and their daughter Zaya. And I'm going to tell you why I love what Dwayne and Gabrielle are doing. I love that they're allowing their child to feel comfortable and safe in her own home, because the world is mean. The world is nasty.
Yeah.
But she's at a place where she's safe with her parents that are grooming her. I will not agree with that child taking no hormones or puberty blockers or any of that before going through puberty, because you live your life in phases and things change. From 13 to 16, you want one thing. From 17 to 22, you want something else. From 26 to 34, you want something else. Don't do something that you can't take back. I've only added on. I've never taken anything off, because what I added on, I could always take off.
Yeah. Did you wish that your parents kind of gave you a safe place? Like,
Yes.
is that what
Which
it
is
is?
why I so respect Gabrielle and Dwayne for allowing Zaya to be who she is in a safe place. And they had a great example because I think that Magic and Cookie did a fantastic job letting EJ be EJ. I wish I would have been a billionaire and could be as flamboyant as EJ when I was in 1981. Good God, I would get my ass whooped every day, but I'd have left in a Rolls Royce.
As far as like kind of moving on, on this platform, we oftentimes talk about certain talking points, but we talked about like the legendary Paul Mooney. You remember the last conversation you had with Paul Mooney?
Yeah. Rest in peace, Big Paul. Big Paul told me, he said, I don't care who you on stage with. They gonna he said, bitch, they gonna always remember the sissy in the dress. That's outside the Comedy Union. They used to be on Pico. I miss that place. Thank you, Ian, for all the love. And I took that as, bitch, you will always stand out no matter who you with.
Yeah.
And and somebody else with a weaker skin or with a different agenda, because I don't look for the negative. I'm looking for the positive. Yeah. Would have took that as an insult. I took that as a great compliment. Like, bitch, they gonna always remember you. And I wear pretty dresses.
Yeah. So I mean, because I guess it is how you want to look at it. Because for him to use that word, I've heard like the word sissy is not like a nice thing. It's not uplifting. But then he also did kind of give you a compliment, because I know that entertainers, especially coming up, you want to be remembered a part of the lineup. And so it did seem like it was like a backhanded compliment.
Well, we're comedians.
Gotcha.
How often do we destroy people from the stage? And we the weakest ones that can't take a joke or can't. No, I'm impenetrable. You can't get to me because I'm not going to allow you unless you mean something to me.
Did you automatically think it was like did you take it as positive?
I took it completely. I gave him the biggest hug and kiss on his cheek ever, because that made me remember that, bitch, there is nobody like you. Mm-hmm. You are the only one that do. I was the only trans woman that did stand-up comedy in mainstream for years. I think it's a couple of other girls out there now, but I was the only one.
You ever thought about doing stand-up as just Marcus?
Absolutely not. Ain't nobody paying for that. They don't want to see that shit.
Why not? Maybe
they get that on the internet every day on Coffee Time on my Instagram page or my YouTube page.
Maybe that would be a fun moment of just like.
Fun for whom?
One show.
I'm not comfortable on stage out of drag.
Yeah. I'm
comfortable on stage looking like a girl. That way, when I drop the N-words and when I bring up all my racist points to show America that I'm a black American African. I am a black American African. It's easier intake coming from a girl than it is coming from a guy. I've learned that through experience.
And in talking with you earlier, you had mentioned something about, I think when women were seeing you come up, you made them feel good because you were exuding femininity. Do you dress up for women or for you?
I dress up for me, but I remember who I'm dressing up for. I dress up to be a beautiful girl, but I remember my audience is 70% women that bring their men that's unfamiliar with me, because they try to market me as a trans comedian or as a gay comedian. I am a comedian that happens to be transgender. Mm-hmm. And people don't understand why I have to change this way from this way, because when you hear gay and transgender, you never get to comedian, because all you hear is the gay and the transgender. D.L. Hughley, out of his own mouth on his own show, denied me from being on his show 3 times, first of all, turned me down 3 times. Wow. He said because he thought I was coming on his show to argue the gay agenda. I'm like, dude, I'm a comedian first. We had the greatest conversation. He, on his own platform, on his own show, 20 minutes in, say, Flame, sitting talking to you, it's so comfortable. I feel like I'm talking to a family member. That is my gift. That is the gift that God gave. My gift of gab is one thing. My gift of making people laugh is another thing. But God gave me a gift to make people comfortable, because I'm so comfortable being me that I allow anybody around me to be comfortable watching somebody like me. Yeah. Thinking that, you know what, the next trans girl or trans man that I meet might be as cool as Flame. They won't be. But you could think that because I have made the level playing field just like this. I ain't got no agenda.
One thing, that I haven't heard about Flame is that Flame wasn't funny. Never really heard that argument.
I've had some wall crashes. In fact, when we were getting ready to tape They Ready, there was somebody who really did not want me on that show. Mm-hmm. And they wanted me to do my material in a different way, to start off with my kids and then go into politics. And everybody who knows me knows I'm an American. I talk about politics all the time because this country is still the most baffling country in the world to me. This is the country where you want to ban books that teach us our history, but keep telling assault rifles that make us history. This country that we live in. But you worry about me having the titties and a dick. No, absolutely not. Get your priorities together. And I tried that a week before we taped. You could have took a plane and drove it into my ass. It would have been more exciting than what I did on stage. So then I had to go back to remembering, no, bitch, this is who you are. Yeah. This is what you do. No one would have, and I've been talking about telling some of the jokes that I told on there for years because I was never on a national platform. Coming into a comedy show and y'all see me on stage like this in my heels and I talk about being somebody's daddy, y'all gonna like, that shit ain't real. But when we showed that it was real, when they pulled that picture up and I was able to do my politics first, because I got to get you comfortable with me. I got to get you used to me. So I got to talk about what we have in common. Politics, we all have in common. We all Americans. We live here. And then get to my kids. Lo and behold, my episode was the one that got the Emmy nod. And, you know, sometimes it wasn't that I was trying to prove anybody right or wrong. I just needed to do it my way. And whether it would have crashed and burned or would have did what it did, I would have been comfortable with it. And I was comfortable with it because I did it my way. But so, yeah, unfunny, yeah, no. If you came to laugh, I'm going to make you laugh more. If you came in a sour mood, I'm going to make you feel good. But if you came shitty, I don't do shitty. That's on you. I can't wipe your ass.
One thing about comedians that I know, right, that there's not really a retirement plan when it comes to comedy. But I got a specific question to you. Is there a retirement plan when it comes to drag?
Oh yeah, when I get some grandkids, I need to hang up my heels, huh?
Okay, I'm just asking.
No. Well, I have a pact with that man already. We've already discussed it. We already got a pact.
So there will be a day where.
Oh yeah, but I will have pictures everywhere. I'm gonna have my grandkids call me Grand Tran. They're gonna call me Grand Tran. Grand Tran. Who is that lady on the wall in the picture? That's your granddaddy, baby. I was a damn piece, wasn't it? Oh, they're gonna know all the truth. I just will make changes.
What would make you at least? You know, it seems like you have your pack, and maybe there's something if you want to talk about it. But what would make you stop and hang up the heels, if you will? What would make why did you ride it out?
Oh well, I don't know. I don't know. If I was comfortable with money, where I could just take care of my grandchildren comfortably and don't have to worry about it with business and money, that will probably be it. But I love to work. I love to entertain. Gotcha. I'm a host. Yeah. Comedy is not even my first love. Hosting is my first love because I bring people together. We have a show every Monday night. Let me throw this shameless plug in called Free Voices at the Hollywood Laugh Factory at 7:30 with my co-host Memphis Will and my DJ Count and my producer Kyle Williams. And our audience is so diverse. And when I say diverse, I'm not talking about gay. We have Asians and Latinos and white folks. It'd be about 10 blacks up in there. And they have a great time. And I am this same person that's talking now. I don't change my voice. This is who I am. I'm dressed up to the nines and we have a great time. And if they come in uncomfortable, I make them play line dances. We do musical chairs because we all just big kids on the inside and they still get comedy, but they leave with a different perspective, because you might see me with one set of eyes, but when you leave, you see me with a whole different set of eyes. You know who I did that for recently? I did that for Kenya Barris at the premiere of You People.
You People.
My publicist was with me, and she asked him, because I thought the movie was great. She asked, could I take a picture? I was about as far away from him as you are to me right now, and when she asked and he pointed at me, I had on a white dress. I was looking fly, made Getty images and everything. But the look on his face was not no. It was, I'm not sure. And this is being very honest. And I saw, and being a seasoned girl, I know how to receive it. Like I told you, I'm not looking for the negative. And I get that he didn't understand. So she said, well, Flame is a comedian. She's on Netflix. Netflix invited her. And I watched him nod and say, oh, Netflix invited her. It's okay. Yeah. So he said, come on, take the picture. And he says, did you enjoy the movie? And before we took the picture, I said, Mr. Barris, let me explain something to you. you could have called this movie Frankenstein. Because if you know the synopsis of the movie Frankenstein, Frankenstein was never the monster. Frankenstein created the monster and then did not want to face the demon that he created. America has created a monster of hate and racism. You turn the mirror on America. We had to see it from all angles. He said, oh my God, that is a great analogy. And within those 2 minutes, the eyes that he saw me with at first, after him talking to me, he put his arm around me. The picture's on Instagram. The body language set it off. He was so close to me face because I had taken the time to let down the, I don't understand, I'm not sure, is it okay, fear, to like, I'm just another person just like you. We having a conversation. And I thoroughly enjoyed the movie.
Yeah, that makes me think about, people maybe being standoff of you at first and not giving you a chance to really reveal who you are as a person.
Yeah.
You met Lil Boosie. What was that reaction when you first met him?
I don't know who was more excited, me or his publicist, because his publicist was openly gay. And I ain't talking about regular gay. I'm talking about the S on the chest with the cape and the feathers and the nicest guy ever. And I know Boosie's rap. I know what Boosie has put out, his stick about this and the gays and woo woo woo. But I am very grown. I'm double grown. And I treat you the way you treat me because how I have survived in this business was I never demanded anybody's respect. I didn't have to. I commanded your respect. You will treat me the way I treat me or we will treat each other real differently. Boosie was such a gentleman and so cool because when he came in, and everybody think it was staged, but it was in the middle of COVID. So we all had to get there at a certain time to get tested before we could tape. And when he came in, I was like, Boosie, what's up? So I'm talking to his publicist, and he's about as far away from you as I am. So I'm asking the publicist, you think it'd be okay if we take a picture? And he heard me. He said, no, baby, you ain't got to ask him about a picture. Come on, take a picture with me. He put his arm around me. He said, damn, you smell good. I was like, what? And he right at my nipple. He was only like 5'2", little short, but like 5'3". But he was such a gentleman, and he was so kind and so friendly. I posted that picture on Instagram, and my community's face almost melted off. I'm like, it was a picture. And he didn't treat me with bad energy because I don't do bad energy.
Right.
Plus, Boosie was 5'3". We could have went at it, baby. No, I'm just joking. But I treated him kind because he was kind to me. Had he set it off, we'd have turned the Breakfast Club dressing that room upside down. I don't back down.
Yeah, because Boosie, before about his views, Mike Tyson kind of like had him unpack that on his podcast where he was just kind of questioning. And it made me think about, and I want to see where this goes, but what you said about men that are like insecure or uncomfortable with it. Do you think Boosie would fall into that category?
No, I don't think Boosie's uncomfortable. Boosie was in prison for 5 years. So I don't think he's uncomfortable being around a bunch of men, period, whether they got titties or not. I just think that Boosie is who he is.
Yeah.
And he's from Louisiana, and a lot of people from different, it depends on where you're from, Okay. You have these mentalities, just like they got after him about the whole teaching his women, all these women with his son at a certain age. That's his kid though. So that was his decision. Just like that's Dwayne's kid. That's Dwayne's decision. You're only responsible for your kid. They got the whole thing out now. And I said in 2019, here y'all go. Let me give you what y'all are looking for. In 2019 on They Ready, I said that Donald Trump was trying to completely erase the trans community. He just put out a PSA in a speech maybe yesterday talking about the first day one that he gets back in office, he was going after the transgender kids and woo woo woo. Not 2 minutes in, he said he was going to remove hormone therapy and sexual reassignment for everyone. Cause he ain't going after no kids. He don't give a damn about his own kids. He don't care about yours. But this is where we have put ourselves in such a box that they coming after us, and it's scary. We worried about pronouns and bathroom rights. We need to be putting people in legislation that can make bills that's going to protect us. Because here's the thing, and as much as a lot of my trans sisters don't think that I think like they think, because a lot of shit I don't agree with what y'all say, but I have my own opinion. When it comes down to them putting us all in a circle and saying, all you bitches going to this island, I'm a part of those bitches because I'm a trans woman.
Got you. And that makes me think about, Black rights and then gay rights. Is there a difference? Is one just, I guess, more valuable or in terms of, or realer than the other? Like, how do we unpack that?
You damn straight. You a black man. What do you think? And you ain't gay, but what do you think? How long the black struggle been going on?
since I've been alive.
That is one of my biggest pet peeves, to have the arguments
They
about
compare that a lot, right?
the black struggle is the gay struggle. Let me tell you something. Ahmaud Arbery was not killed because he was running down the road in some rainbow shorts and carrying a goddamn gay flag. He was killed because he had his badge of honor, which God blessed him with his beautiful black skin, and people didn't like him for that. Now I do understand that some people don't like us because we are gay and woo woo woo, and they say you can hide your gay, you can't hide your skin, you can't take your skin off. Black is beautiful. My black is beautiful. Your black is beautiful, no matter which hue it is.
Right.
Your white is beautiful. Your Asian is beautiful. I don't hate no other nationalities, but I just love who God made me. If that's the problem, if we start loving who we were, you wouldn't be so worried about what somebody else represents. But again, racism is a learned behavior. Somebody teach you to hate.
Because in the reality too, and talking with previous people that that identify as homosexual, they said that there's racism in the gay community.
Oh, like you wouldn't believe. And what does everybody, and here's the killer. We all want to say they say, I'm born this, I'm born that. And I don't dispute how you feel on the inside, but you don't know how you was born. But your birth certificate says sex, male, black, sex, female, black, sex, everything, every other component that you become in life, whether it be doctor, bank robber, crook, thief, killer, you add that on, or it's already instilled in you. Go back to basics. I am a black American African, because they want to take away our history now. Oh, you ain't supposed to celebrate the 4th of July. It's Juneteenth. And I understand that. But I didn't have textbooks to teach me that when I was growing up.
Right.
And my mother didn't teach us that. My 4th of July was barbecues and the fire hydrant and tag and hide and go seek. So I'm supposed to erase my memories. Now, I do want to learn about the black history of what it meant and woo, woo, woo. And I'm with that, and I'm teaching my children that. But you still cannot have my history. You can't take my memories. Time might take it, but you can't take it. Yeah. Those were fine. Christmas was
how
fine
deep.
for me.
How deep on an intellectual tip are you? Like, are you going back to Egypt, like blacks in Egypt? Are you on that type of wavelength?
No, I'm talking about I'm an American. They want to say that we're not American citizens. I was born and raised in America. I don't know any place else. I don't know Africa yet. I know that's where we ancestrally are from, but you want to take away my history. That's what they're trying to do to us baby boomers. I'm right up under the baby boomers too, but they're trying to do that to us. You can't have my history because you want to represent Harriet Tubman ran on this day. Oh, I will acknowledge that holiday, but I'm supposed to forget that on the 4th of July we barbecued and had fireworks. Those were fond memories for me, and I'm saying that from people in my age bracket, from 45 to 55. Yeah. Those are our age, but those are our memories.
Speaking of that, with memories, you have slavery. That's something that people are now putting to the forefront due to reparations, is the conversation. Where does Flame stand when it comes to reparations? Is it something that you think should be owed to us? And then to also put out there, it does seem like America does a good job in pacifying us, if that makes sense. I believe that they do a lot of symbolism versus things that will actually impact us.
It's funny that you said pacifying us, because when you give a baby a pacifier and they don't want it, they spit it out.
So continuing, what's your thoughts about, what do you think? I mean, reparations, that's a big argument.
Well, thank you, Gavin Newsom, because according to Gavin Newsom, I think on May the 1st or something like that, every black American in the state of California that's 21 and up will get a reparations check. My only issue will be, will I get one for him and for her? Because I'm two people. I just need to get two checks. I'm just saying, I need the Marcus Parker and the Flame Monroe check. This country was built on the backs of slavery. Now, this is a joke, but it's the truth. I don't know if you could just give everybody $200,000 at one time. First of all, they're going to tax it. Second of all, if any government program you own, Section 8, welfare, Social Security, they're going to take that from that too. So understand, they ain't giving you shit. They said, like you just said, they setting you up with a pacifier, but when a baby don't want a pacifier, they spit it out.
Talking about, going back into how you identify yourself, I was thinking about the Brat recently.
I know the Brat Tat-Tat. Chi-Town West Side.
From Chicago, fellow Chicago native. What was your reaction when you found out that she was pregnant?
She's a woman. You see how simple that was? She's a woman. What do women do? Women have babies. I love the fact that she is the stud in her presentation. Let me say that again, because my presentation is the girl. Sleep with me. her presentation is the stud. But she's comfortable enough in who the woman that she is to carry her wife's baby. That's some cold shit right there to me. And I know that went over some of y'all heads, but hear me and hear me clearly. Her presentation is the man. But she's so in tune with who she is as a woman that she was naturally born as, that she can carry her wife's baby and then gonna go back to being her wife's nigga. Oh, honey, you better see that for what, that's a beautiful picture.
Let me ask you this, right? Do you think that type of imagery confuses kids seeing that?
I think all parents are responsible for teaching their own children. Yep, I do think the media plays a part in showing a lot of things. I do agree with that. But I think that all parents, I don't care what color you are, what sex you are, what nationality you are responsible for teaching your children what you want them to know as far as stuff like that.
Got you.
You know what I mean?
Got you.
My kids get the raw and the real from me because I want them to be equipped to know what's coming. You know, I know a lot of people sugarcoat and you try to hide. The more you try to hide things from kids when they get iPads and cell phones, apps pop up out of nowhere. You can do all the pop-up blockers you want to. Somebody gonna find a way to go through cyberspace and your kids gonna see some shit that you have not explained to them. I think that's more damaging than I've already explained to you that this is what this is and this is not what this is.
Yeah. And that's a big, debate right now. So it does seem like you put it on the parents to guide their children as the world develops and changes. And that's pretty much the stance on it.
Agreed.
Now you're again, I don't see too many people that say like Flame isn't funny, and I don't hear that rhetoric. But I do think about you being part of a certain era of comedy. You ever did Def Comedy Jam?
No, and and what's so funny is they flew me to New York. I did the Peppermint with Bill Bellamy years ago. Was terrified. This is at the time when East Orange, New Jersey was the carjack capital of the nation.
Right, New Jersey Drive.
And me and my girlfriend Bambi, may she rest in peace, we caught the train from New York to East Orange. Mind you, she was a beautiful passable tranny. What have I told you about me? But the body was cold. So we got there. Bill was so cool. He was like, "You ready?" Mind you, these fools was throwing bottles at people on stage. They was throwing shit at the stage if you wasn't funny. I'm petrified for my life. Not only was I a fish out of water, I'm up in a club where somebody like me wasn't even supposed to be, but it was a fire in me. Like, I got to prove to myself that I can get past this. And Bill called me out. I destroyed the room. They told me I was going to do Def Jam. But there was a producer that wanted to see what I looked like with my clothes off. So I never did Def Jam. That was my Me 3 moment. Not Me 2. It was Me 3. Because I ain't got 2 things. I got 3.
Wait, so what do you mean? So they asked to see you naked? Why would they ask?
I think, when the last time you had something? Because you acting real virginistic
This is
right
just
now.
an interview.
Yeah, I know. I'm messing with you. Yeah, I didn't want to play. I didn't want to play.
Wow.
And I didn't get picked. Now call me now. Listen, things have changed. No, I'm just joking. It just wasn't what I wanted, and I wanted to get it off my merit of my talent.
Right.
I've been a comedian for 20 years. The reason I have the respect, because there is not one male comedian. I know some beautiful male comedians out here that I'm like, oh my God, especially in my youth, that could say Flame pushed up at me, because I didn't want that reputation. I wanted to be known as funny or consistently funny, or, she gonna turn the room upside down or whatever. So that was the ploy that I got. So I didn't want that reputation. So I never played like that. I never wanted that.
So that makes me think that there's been multiple times when someone may have put an offer down and see if Flame would,
It has been.
get on the casting couch.
It has been.
Okay. And do you think you turning down those offers hurt, your chances or the ability to move forward?
Maybe sooner than now, but I look at it like, God, whatever God got for you, you're going to get anyway. All this with haters and people trying to stop, and they will try, this whole cancel culture, they try to stop everything. Stop yourself. You ain't mad at nobody but yourself.
Do you think the way that you present yourself has hurt your career?
Oh, like this?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely not. This is who Flame Monroe is.
Okay.
People know me. I am not a A-list comedian. I am a B minus, C plus. I'll take that. But I am a full-on triple A entertainer because what I give you is everything. The stories, the laughter, the joy. I teach you. I'm dressed. I'm presentable, and I can flirt with women, and I can flirt with the man, and I can matchmake because this is how comfortable I have made you to that. Whatever I'm serving you on a platter, you're gonna receive it because I'm serving it with joy. I'm not serving it with bitterness and anger. I'm not serving it with force. I'm serving it with a smile on my face because I done made you smile.
I mentioned Def Comedy Jam.
That was my show, by the way. I love Def Jam.
Yeah.
That's when I first fell in love with Cheryl Underwood.
I went to I mentioned Def Comedy Jam because recently Martin Lawrence said that he hasn't laughed that hard since Def Comedy Jam. Like, do you agree with that? Do you think the era of comedians...
That's his opinion. No, I think it's the great comedians out here right now.
Yeah.
I think and a lot of them ain't even famous. That's the killing part. That's Kevin Tate, Memphis Will, D-Lay, D-Ray Davis. Oh my God, D-Ray Davis, Chris Spencer. It is so many comics, Hank Chin, that have, Ralph Porter, that are not famous, that are hysterically funny, but they're in the clubs. They work and they're in the trenches. They work and they get that plateau, but they make you work so hard and so long sometimes that your hunger is gone by the time you finally get into the kitchen to get the damn plate. So you like, well, I'm eating now. I don't want to go back to work. I want to, Earthquake. Look at Earthquake took him 30 years. Earthquake have exploded onto the scene, but Earthquake been funny consistently all these years. But until somebody gave Earthquake an opportunity to say, he just like me, I was on the scene for years. But until Tiffany Haddish said, hey, Flame is okay. So Netflix said, Flame is okay. Then Dave came. Flame is okay. Then Flame is okay. But you work so hard, fight so hard, and struggle so hard that when you finally get it, sometimes you like, you know what, I done arrived. Y'all gonna get what I'm giving y'all.
You made me think about when you said Netflix, even previously, you know, we talked about Netflix a lot due to Monique. And Monique, you know, interesting enough, would call out Netflix and then she would get a special. Were you surprised that, you know, that's interesting. That's an interesting position because it is well known that you had kind of put Monique out there for some of the treatment.
Yeah,
that
we
she
resolved all that though. That's all resolved.
Really?
It's all done.
How was that? I mean, just
it was smooth. It was smooth, and the mediator between that was Jamaica Jatoya, a mutual friend of both of ours. So it was a smooth, just resolved. As far as Netflix doing it, I don't know. I don't know what that was about. But you know what? We're waiting to see her special when it comes out, so we'll see what it is. I think it's gonna be great because I'm telling you, some more mention Monique in her special, her new special. That is what people need to see, the camaraderie of female comedians, because what it is the myth is you can't put 5 or 6 female comedians on the road together because it's gonna be a lot of catfighting. When we tape They Ready, and even though I'm not a full female, those women were loving, nurturing, uplifting. We all encourage each other. Girl, go kill it. Go get it ready. Go set them up. I'm coming. It was a beautiful thing to see. But they put that reputation out because comedy really is a male-dominated field.
Right.
Comedy really is a male. But I fall up under the criteria because the girl in me ain't gonna let you get away with the shit, and the nigga in me gonna show up.
That's what I was gonna. I was looking at that. How do you identify yourself as a comedian?
Baby, I'm aggressive like him, and I'm girly enough to get away with it.
So that might mean, like, do you see yourself, this is just throwing this out here, right? Because things are constantly developing. You had the queens of comedy. You had the kings of comedy. Does Flame, which one does Flame tour with? Or is Flame doing another version of that, Drags of Comedy?
I wouldn't do a Drags of Comedy show.
And why?
Because I wouldn't pigeonhole. I just told you, I am a comedian that happens to be transgendered. I am not a transgendered comedian. I'm not a drag queen comedian. I work mainstream because I talk about kids, relationships with women, food stamps, EBT, Section 8, smoking weed, which I've never done. I talk about everything that relates to life. I'm not just talking about, oh, my bird is gay, my cat is gay. That shit ain't funny to me.
So would you tour with either one of those?
I surely will with both of them. I could be the host for either one because I can fall as a queen and I'm still a king. I am the trans woman king.
Now you just said something interesting, being that, we're doing this current interview in Los Angeles. This is the capital for marijuana. You say you have not smoked
I've
weed.
never smoked weed a day in my life.
Never tried it, never hit it once.
I hit plenty, but I never hit no weed. I never did drugs. I never smoked a drug. About 5 years ago, I was on the road with Linnell and another comedian, and I was having anxiety because we were going to a real hood club. Mm-hmm. And Linnell said, "Here, take this," and she threw a 5 milligram chocolate covered blueberry edible in my mouth. I've been hooked ever since. Let me just say. And she said I had the greatest show of my life. I couldn't remember. I don't remember that. I remember the blueberry edible, and everything else is a blank after that.
So, is there a reason why you haven't smoked weed?
That was never my vice. I wanted to dress up and be glamorous. I hoard the streets when I first started doing drag. I was a prostitute.
Yeah. You was a prostitute?
On the street, on the track, baby. Maxine was the coldest piece on the two legs.
How was your pimp then? Did you have a pimp?
Yeah, I am the girl and I'm my own bottom bitch. Don't lose that I'm the pimp and the hoe.
Did you have a meeting with yourself?
Always. I still talk to myself. That's people who say, you're not crazy as long as you don't talk back. If you don't talk back, that means your mama didn't raise you right. Because then your mama raised you that when somebody speak, you're supposed to speak back. Shit.
So if this is being playful at this point. Like,
of course.
Being your own pimp, like, what happened when you were short with the money?
Then they would trigger the nigga and the other one would show up. The wig came off and we was on from there. Shit. It's called having your own personal bodyguard. I used to box. You see my hands? I used to box. I was almost semi-professional.
Dang. That makes me think too. Not only are you going to use your words to roast and be able to fight people off you, but to be a boxer, did you ever have to use some boxing skills to like really whoop some ass?
I have punched a couple of skulls before.
In terms of presenting yourself as Flame and
long before Dave got attacked on stage, or long before the whole Oscar thing, child, some guy ran up on me on stage in Chicago.
How long did he last on that stage?
Oh, security was right on it. They really came and got me off of him. Did you hear that? Huh. And
what did you know why he was even trying to attack you on stage?
What the fuck you on stage like that? Whatever his issue, whatever I woke up in him. This when I was young, I used to snatch my dress off and have on a slingshot bathing suit like the Ice-T album because I had the body to put in it and would just destroy the room with the joke I used to do. Mm-hmm. And he was furious. But that's why I say, if you a man and you know who you are, I can't make you nothing that you wasn't. You came in with them thoughts. I just woke him up. And he was mad at me. So I said something like, see, now you done told on yourself. The whole audience know you want to go home with me now, nigga. Oh my God. He ran up on the stage to try to grab me, but the microphone stand is a powerful motherfucker.
Was it the one with
the bass? Ooh. Yes. God, thank you, Jesus. It wasn't on tape. This was long before cell phones. Prove it.
As we start to close out this great interview, it's been a fantastic time talking with you. How many years in the game has it been so far for you in stand-up comedy?
20 years in the game.
20 years, okay.
20, and like I told you, when I first came in, I was invisible to the people. We'd be sitting in the green room, as many of us. Mm-hmm. Nobody said a word to me. It was like I was in there by myself. Because I was younger, but I knew from growing up being so comfortable with being who I was, the way my grandmother raised me, I didn't go to the defense. A lot of trans people, and this is the truth, we run to the defense because we're so used to always having to defend. So if somebody looking at you strange or somebody making a sour face, I'm like, what you looking at? You can't take what you looking at. Sometimes, and somebody had to explain this to me, sometimes they're looking at you because you're beautiful to them. Sometimes they're looking at you because they admire you. And if you looking for the negative, it's waiting on you. But if you looking to receive the joy, it's also waiting on you. It's like the glass half empty or half full. Which one have you chosen? The red pill or the blue pill?
Right.
Most of my age, we choosing the blue pill. Anyway, that went over your head.
I get it.
And now, 20 years in, earthquake hugging me. Dave Chappelle flew me to Yellow Springs, Ohio, first class. His whole family team, his wife, Elaine, treated me like I was a part of their family. Mm. Do you know what it felt? It felt abnormal to be treated so normal with all the stigma that Dave had on him. Dave said before he introduced me night 3, because we were on the show 3 nights together, he said for 17 weeks, they went after me. They tore me apart. I lost work. They tried to destroy my career. Woo, woo, woo. And nobody stood up. Nobody had the courage to stand up for me, except for this next entertainer that's coming to the stage. I considered this person my friend. When Dave said that, I couldn't even come out because I was in the back crying like a bitch. Because what it was to me was, I didn't go and speak on CNN because I was defending Dave per se. I had 3 dogs in that fight. I'm black, I'm transgender, and I'm a comedian, but I'm black first.
Right.
And if they listen to Dave's special, he was putting us on a pedestal while showing them who they were. But if you listen to hear negativity, you will hear negativity. I don't listen to hear the negativity. I listen to hear the message or the story. And so when I spoke about that, oh my God, I lost a lot of work behind that too. The community had a meltdown. I've lost about $200,000 since September in work because of how I feel.
Is that people like calling you and saying, hey, we're going to cancel?
Yeah, we got some bad feedback that they feel like you're not part of the movement or what have you. So I've lost about $200,000. But like I told you in the beginning, I never lived above my means. I always stayed in a place where you could think you could take it away, but I'm a smart bitch. Dave made me feel welcome. Dave had me come and do something when he was here. Dave told me to my face, if you ever need me, I'm your brother. Just call me. I ain't called on him yet, even with the loss of work, because I don't need Dave yet. When I call on Dave, it'll be the EP, my 1 hour special.
Come on.
That's what I'm going to call him for. Say, look here, player, let's do it. But I hate that they thought that, because what the message that they missed with the closer was that, yeah, when Dave did the Sticks and Stones, I heard a little homophobic. I heard a little transphobic. I did. But 4 specials later, by the time he got to the closer, Dave had met somebody who looked like me, who had a kid like me, who was doing stand-up in mainstream like me, and gave this woman an opportunity. And his words were her and his friend. For a trans woman, why they kept saying that he was homophobic, he referred to his friend as her and she. And the community, they said he was homophobic, transphobic. The community went after this woman, and I don't know what the reasons were, if that was it, but she committed suicide. She jumped off a bridge and killed herself. That ain't in my DNA. I'd shoot everybody fucking with me. But when I heard that, I was like, oh my God. Then he put up a trust fund for $1 million for her daughter. Dave gave her an opportunity, and the community gave her grief. I see it for what it was. I thought that Dave was a beautiful human. And if you've ever been in his personal circle, you know what I respected and admired about him? My makeup artist was with me. My manager at the time, Dave didn't call him baby girl. Dave remembered the common man's name. Coco, come over here, baby. Don't be, come over here, Lauren. I thought that was, he didn't have to. You know what I mean?
Right.
He made everybody feel, and Mos Def was there, formerly known as Mos Def, was there, and Cat Williams, and we were like, I was one of the fellas. I was in the boys club of the car. That's how I felt, even all dressed up and down. But I was in the boys club because they opened their arms and received somebody like me to do just what they were doing. Entertaining the audience. We in the middle of a damn cornfield. Dave is brilliant. We was in the middle of a cornfield. I said, I heard the angels in the outfield, but trannies in the cornfield, where's Jeepers Creepers at when I need them? It was great. It was a great experience. I felt, and I hate that he got so much backlash, but that is not who he is. He really is the kindest, most gentle man, and his team loves him. His family and the team that he has surrounded himself with protects and loves him. I admire that.
You even laying that up makes me think about it, because you said that you heard some of his earlier specials. Dave was saying some things.
Oh, I told him that. I told him. I'm not saying anything that I have not said to my friend, Dave Chappelle.
Right.
You were a little I heard it.
But you said you also recognized some growth.
I saw the growth.
Now, I lay that up just saying, like, what needs to happen and what is currently happening when, back in the day, if I saw Flame walking down the sidewalk, I would be, like, caught off guard. Like, what's going on? And now it's like a little bit more comfortable. What is happening? You think that's kind of getting us to where we can normalize Flame Monroe?
I don't know if I'm gonna ever be normal. Let's just be honest. But I think it's so much transparency with gay and trans people on TV now. Do I think all the representation is good? No, I do not. Absolutely not. But it hopefully it's making the world see that everybody does not look alike. Everybody looks different. Everybody does something different. And with great shows like Shangela, who has that show, We Are Us or something on HBO, where she travels around to all these little hick towns to see all these different people who have been gay and want to be comfortable and woo woo woo. So it's allowing people to be comfortable in their skin. Again, even if you're the parent of a gay kid or if you're a gay parent and you got a kid, it is your job to teach your kid what you want your kid to learn. It's not the internet's job. It's not the teacher's job. It's not society's job. It is your job. You are that parent. The Bible even says, raise the kids the way you want them to go, and that's your damn job. Too many parents don't want to do their jobs. And I ain't saying my kid the greatest because they talk back. Good God, do they talk back.
Kind of in closing, I got another fun question for you. We talked about the brat. And
I know the brat. The brat used to come see me at the drag shows in Chicago.
now you told me the type of woman that you would date.
Oh, the brat could get it all day. The brat could get it all day. Queen Latifah and Set It Off when she was Cleo could get it all day. Jada Pinkett at the very end of Set It Off when she cut off all the hair and them braids. Oh my God, could get it right now. The one that played on Empire, the little stud, could get it. You know who else could get it from P-Valley? Roulette. But I met Gail Bean when she played a thug, but she's really a girly girl in real life. But that thing played that thug when she put that gun in that man's mouth, Roulette. When you put that gun in that man's mouth, girl, I had a flashback. Okay, wait a minute.
I guess, do you relate, like, me being a heterosexual male? Are you looking at the same things I'm looking at? Are you looking at like a woman's features? Like, what about
Well, I'm not attracted to feminine women.
But what I say is the brat. Like, I could still see an attractive woman.
But the brat used to be the thug back in her. But brat always was so comfortable with who she was. I think that was the biggest turn on. Plus the brat used to be really small, really skinny. I think that was the biggest turn. I love people who are not afraid to be who they are. Why am I looking at what you think about me? Nigga, I don't know you. I don't give a damn what you think. And if I take your energy and your weight and how you feel and put that on me, I done added more weight to my body. I don't need your weight. I don't care what you think about me. You better hope I don't say nothing back. Cause my clap back, my hands are big.
Do you empathize?
It matches everything else though. I just had to finish that off. I ain't want y'all to get nervous or nothing.
Have you, let me ask, because we're here now. Have you ever surprised somebody in the bedroom?
Absolutely not. When you come to this lunch counter.
Not surprised, I was going to
say, when you come to this lunch counter, you know it's a pickle on every plate. I don't care what that menu like. You better add a pickle to that cheeseburger, that hot dog, them pancakes. It's a pickle on every plate.
Because you said originally you never felt that you were passable, right? Did you feel kind of obligated though to tell a man if he was like hitting on you who may have?
They knew. That's why I said I was never passable. So they knew. So I knew when you approached me, you knew what it was.
If you were, what's the code? Is there a code for you to be like, I need to let him know what I'm...
Or everybody thinks differently. And that's a subject I definitely don't want to go down that rabbit hole because they keep talking about all these murders and everything. Yeah. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. That is not a conversation that I'm willing to have. But I was never in that position to have to say that I had the responsibility of having to tell a man, so I wouldn't know what to say about that because I never had to. They already knew.
Flame Monroe, your name will continue to, I'm sure.
Say my name. Say my name. Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. So you can follow me at all my, all the social handles. But I just signed my 3rd year podcast with Black Effect under the Black Effect Network with iHeart. Called Laugh and Learn. Thank you, Charlamagne the God. Thank you, Dolly Bishop, the president of the Black Effect Network. Thank you, Connell, who's the president of iHeart. And thank you, Will Pearson, for hiring me. And thank you, Charlamagne, the most, because Charlamagne hired me the very first time I did the Breakfast Club off camera. Nobody saw that because we went from there straight to the Brilliant Idiots. And Charlamagne says, you got the sharpest mind I've had in a very long time. I said, nigga, can't nobody match wits with mother. But he didn't have nothing at the time. But then when he did get the opportunity, He gave 14 podcasters at one time. Podcast. Man happens to be one of that survived it because I talk about politics and I talk about what's really happening from an American perspective, because what I am is an American and I'm black and I'm of African descent. So that's what I talk about. And I talk about what's happening in the world in a comical way, but still, you know, informative. I teach you. So yeah, I'm proud of that.
Were you, I mean, you kind of made me think, were you surprised with Trump coming back or looking to come back to the office?
No, he's trying to escape jail. This man incited a riot on his own country. Benedict Arnold looked like a pussy standing next to Donald Trump. This man incited a riot that the white folks still want to say, those white folks anyway, want to say that it was a tourist attraction. Absolutely not. On January 6th, they were doing their thing. And again, I didn't take on their weight because on that same January 6th, guess what we did? We flipped Georgia. Come on, Stacey Abrams. We flipped Georgia. I didn't receive the negativity. I was watching Georgia turn blue. Hopefully we can keep Georgia blue. See, It's what you take in. I don't want that weight.
You ever desire to run for politics?
Oh my God. Then they're going to bring up all my past. Oh, I don't think I want y'all to know everything. Good God. No, I would never. That's not a game I want to play because I'm too genuine. I'm too honest. All that lying and shit, like George Santos with all these lies and shit. Let me tell you about this George Santos. Let me tell you how baffling my community is. George Santos, openly gay, did drag shows, Republican, lied his way into the Senate, signed the GOP bill against drag shows in Florida, and don't say gay. And my community ain't said a goddamn word about George Santos. And we wonder why they coming after us? Because we worried about, can I use this bathroom and that bathroom? Most places have all gender bathroom. Use the baby changing station. It's one toilet. You can lock the door. Ain't nobody got to see what the hell you doing up in there. Mm-hmm. They make masturbation videos all day on Twitter up in the goddamn all gender bathroom. So I'm just saying, you have to pick which fight you want. I want to fight for equality. I'm not caring about it. If I'm 50 years old, if I got the pee, you in my way, the pee gonna come anyway. I'm gonna piss all over you.
Flame Monroe. Thank you for your first one-on-one with Comedy Hype.
Thank you guys for having me. I had a good time.
Great talking points. We look to see you again. The door is always open.
Y'all make sure y'all put that girl filter on me. They got a new filter. It's called the girl filter. I need the girl passive. I would need to be passable at this age. So make it happen. Thank you guys. Y'all can follow me on Instagram at Monroe Flame, Marcus Flame Monroe Parker on Facebook, Twitter, I'm Flame Monroe, TikTok, I'm Flame Monroe 125, YouTube, I'm Flame Monroe. But listen to my podcast on iHeart under the Black Effect Network. We restart the new season on the 28th, which is next week. Baby, we kicking it off with a shaboom. And vote for Joe Biden. He ain't too old. And don't think he stole those papers. He really did forget. Y'all know he forgot. The man turned around and shook somebody's hand that wasn't there. You know he forgot the damn papers. Good God. Okay, all right, y'all. I'm out.